Yeah, and we've also changed a few things with Victoria
Oh,
recently.
okay.
So, we're closed down in Victoria now. Only because we long-term goal is eventually Victoria.
Okay.
But since we've made top 10, Dad wants to be able to do it right
That
and
makes
remodel
sense.
it right. And we don't have a full-blown kitchen, or we weren't cooking over there. So Dad wants to make sure that, you know, we have what we need over there before we
Smart.
kind of, yeah. And we also didn't want people to be confused or, um, I'm only one person. I can cook so much per day, per week. Uh, I was running out of things, a few things faster in Port Lavaca since we made top 10. And because I was splitting the food, between
Oh,
Port
sending
Lavaca
stuff.
and Victoria. hmm And I wanted to make sure that we had plenty for all of our stamp visitors and whatnot, with top 10. So it helps with that too.
That's
And,
smart. Okay, that's
mom can be in Port Lavaca, and I can, work in the back a little more. And she can be the front now. And it just gives us both time, and, we're all together now.
interesting.
So.
No, no, no. That's hard to. It's hard for anybody to manage, and I'll keep this in because this is interesting. So you can
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
kind of start. People
Yeah.
like it when we just start to talk, but
Yeah, no problem.
it is hard to manage when you open. A lot of people open a second location. It adds so much, and then this was
Mhm.
your Port Lavaca location was serving kind of as your commissary kitchen, right?
Yes. Yeah, so the way Dad explained it is it was basically like a big catering every day. So what I would do was
Oh, interesting.
we would split the food half and half, and or if she had a pre-order, I would give her that amount, and she would bus it to Victoria in hot boxes every morning. We would get there really early. She would make all her and my cousin would make all the sides, all the condiments and everything. My staff in Port Lavaca was making for Victoria. So anything she needed, we'd load her up for the day. And then at night, she would, bring the pans back and bring the van back. My crew would unload everything. And then we'd start over the next day. Her crew over there were great. They washed all the dishes. They made sure that serving wise, that was their main priority. And but the way our setup was, it just we want to make sure Victoria's right, and we
Yeah.
want to make sure, we set it up with how we want it. And for right now, it's just easier for everybody to be in Port Lavaca serving with the stamp and stuff. So
That makes sense. And it's so when you do open Victoria eventually, that will
mhm.
probably be a stand will be standalone. They'll have their own kitchen, their own pits and all that. Do you think? Or
Probably,
if
probably.
like
I'm not sure about cooking the pit wise yet. I mean, obviously I would have a pit over there. We'd have to see what we want to do with Port Lavaca. I think the end all be all goal is, having Victoria as our flagship location,
okay.
and having Victoria listed on the list instead of Port Lavaca. So that might mean that eventually Port Lavaca is closed. Um, Unfortunately, this time, I couldn't be in two places at once. So, um, Port Lavaca, is on the list. So no hard feelings for that. But yeah, it was just kind of hard to and we just don't want people to get confused. We don't want people
No.
to drive to Victoria and expect to see me, mom, or dad, and then get the stamp when, they can't. So
Well, that's good. And I'll try to my best let people know that Port
yeah.
Lavaca is the place to
Yeah,
go.
because we were pushing Victoria pretty hard. I mean,
Yeah.
and so now even my brother made a TikTok one day, and for some reason he videoed Port Lavaca, he videoed the outside. He let everybody know,
That,
my dog.
that's
He
life.
let everybody know that they're probably barking at the new cows. Uh that we're in Port Lavaca, but for some reason TikTok clicked on the link, or I don't know, somehow the location underneath the
Oh, the
video
location became Victoria.
says Victoria. And so everybody from TikTok's getting confused, and they're it's just not. And he has to keep repeating himself on the comments. No, we're in Port Lavaca, we're in Port Lavaca. But yeah, so we're trying to get the word out that Victoria is no
Okay.
longer open, and we are all in Port Lavaca for the
Okay.
moment.
Well, I'll continue. Maybe I'll figure out some clever ways to promote it in my stories. Because people seem to look at stories sometimes more than the regular post. It's a
Yeah,
weird,
yeah,
social media is a weird world. But yeah, I think it would be, yeah, at least, because honestly, I didn't know that you guys were shutting it down. So that's for, I mean,
yeah.
putting it on hold until,
And we also extended hours in Port Lavaca
oh, cool.
so that way more travelers could have an opportunity to come without, just lunch times because previously it was only Thursday, Friday at lunch and then Saturday all day. But now we're open Wednesday for special menu like chicken quarters, sloppy Joe, burgers,
Uh,
chili, the Texas bowl, which is like our chili that we grind up and out of my brisket trimmings. And just to make it a quick, cheaper lunch for locals, plant workers, things like that, that people were kind of missing from
mhm.
Victoria, that, we're able to kind of give to people who are trying to get in and out really quick. And then we extended our hours to Sundays from 11 to 6:30. So that way
Wow.
travelers had an extra day, had an extra chance to get their stamp or come in. Because we know barbecue for, just a Saturday, if you're traveling, is kind of hard to,
Yeah.
work around whenever you're driving somewhere. So, and we're so out of the way. We want to give plenty of opportunity to people to come see us.
Okay. Well, we're gonna jump all over the place, but did you say
Yeah.
the new cows, like real cows?
Oh, one of our cows had a calf, and our in our house we have one of our windows, or one of our walls to the outside is just big windows, and so the dogs can see the cows from the window. And whenever they get close enough to the house, they kind of start sensing, and they'll go and bark at them.
How many cows do you guys have?
Currently, I think right now it's six plus the calf. I think so. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been involved in a lot of the discussion with which ones go and which ones don't this time. We have a neighbor who's our cowboy, and he comes and takes the ones he needs to, and,
Yeah, yeah, he does this. Yeah.
fixes the ones he needs to, and does his stuff. They're honestly, my sister's cows.
Okay.
She doesn't live here. She's married with her kids in about 30 minutes away or 45 minutes away, but she doesn't have a whole lot of property to
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
keep her cows. So we decided to keep, it was just easier to keep them here. So
It's
yeah.
it's an interesting anecdote. Like I didn't
Yeah,
figure.
and my dog, my golden doodle is so big he thinks he's a cow. So every time there's a new calf, I usually, like yesterday morning, I had to give him a bath because I usually find him in the pasture trying to play with the calf
Yeah.
in the mud, and he's a white poodle. So
It's
my
what
mom
dogs
does
do.
not, yeah, my mom does not like that. Luckily, he shaved, and it was easy to bathe him outside. But
No, I
yeah,
saw a video. I think I saw a video with a golden retriever puppy playing with a deer, and it thought like a baby deer, like a fawn, I guess, or and so
yeah,
it thought that it was, it thinks it's a bigger
yeah,
dog or something. Like it's just funny
yeah,
how animals and like if they're young, they kind of appreciate, or they of the same
yeah,
size. So
yeah.
so then let's go because there's all these accolades, there's all these fun things that are happening, and I want to go over your menu because it is different
Mhm.
than other places. It's similar and different, but what was your background? Was your path this? That did you always think this is a rest going to be working in a restaurant?
No, no. Honestly, I was one of those people that, I needed guidance. I have like ADHD where I think I'm good at everything, or I could be good at everything. I want to
That's
try everything at least. And
kindred spirits here. I think this is good.
yeah, so I was like, I could do this, and I everything sounds fun to me.
Mhm.
So going into college, I kind of had this idea of I had this hobby, this hobby, this hobby, and I kind of tried to blend all of my hobbies together. I really liked helping people. I was in the dance team. I was, very active in high school. I went to school with my graduating class was 100 people. So our school, you had to be in multiple activities or else we couldn't have those activities and to make
That's
it.
true.
Yeah, and so I was in choir, I was in dance, I was in, lots of sports, softball and everything. So physical therapy really kind of, drew my eye. And then the singing and the choir, I really like that. So long story short, I went to school for music therapy. That did not work out as well as I thought it would. Laws were changing, insurances didn't cover it. So my mom was an amazing teacher, elementary school teachers while I was little, and then she went to the high school for a while, and then she was director at a college for a while. So I knew the ins and outs of the background of education. I didn't really have a lot of, obviously no classroom experience teaching kids, but I knew her coming home with papers to grade and whatnot. I knew what it entailed.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could do that. So I went to college for music therapy. It didn't really work out. So I got my teaching certificate and I decided to be an elementary school teacher because I wanted to be a music teacher. There were no spots open where I live, but I was like, oh, it's okay. I'll start teaching great, younger kids, and then if a music position comes
Yeah.
open, we'll do that. Um, but then COVID hit, and right before that, when I started teaching, mom and dad were like, okay, so all of our kids have now, come to one town, or not one town, but in the area, and they've all gotten their jobs and their careers, and now my mom wanted to retire, and she wanted dad to get her a food truck to sell baked potatoes out of. And it's kind of snowballed into the restaurant. And dad pulled her up to the building and was like, this is your trailer. This is where you're going to serve it. And she was like, oh, this is a lot bigger than I was expecting. And he was like, we can do it. So it just so happened that it was across the street from my classroom, from my school. And while we were working on the building and, trying to set it up, I would come on the weekends and I would take my kids out to the playground and they would see my parents working on the building and everything. And it was kind of neat, because they would ask questions and I would answer. And then COVID hit. We opened in November on Dad's birthday, and then COVID hit in March for right before spring break, and we didn't know if we were going to see our kids come back to school after spring break. They were kind of like, we're just gonna go through spring break and see how it goes. Um, but then at the restaurant, I was still helping on the weekends and stuff. And once COVID hit, they decided we were gonna teach online, and mom and dad had to go back to work on a different kind of schedule. So he couldn't take days off for short, he couldn't work longer hours and then take certain days off. So he had to be there on a set schedule because of COVID. And so he looked at me and my mom and he was like, okay, y'all two are the only ones who know how to run the pit. Um, how's this gonna work? And so mom obviously runs the front amazingly, and she does all the sides and desserts already, so I didn't want to put more on her.
Yeah.
So
But
I said I'll
you
run
didn't
the
know how to
pit.
run a pit before, right?
I had never ran it by myself. I've helped my dad watch it,
Yeah.
I temperature wise, okay, I think the meat's ready. I can help you wrap. Just tell me what to do with it.
Because he built the pit,
Um,
right? He built those pits and
mhm,
stuff. Yeah, okay.
yeah. So I basically I was like, okay, I'll help you. I'm still going to teach online, but since I have to be here, I'm still on the school's Wi-Fi. I'm right across the street. Um,
That's
I could teach for however long I need to because we had certain times we had to, teach, but I can't help up front. Like I have to keep my computer back
Yeah, be
there.
available to.
Yeah, I'm just watching the pit. Because we all know barbecues, a lot of sitting and waiting
Yeah.
after a certain point. And so, yeah, so we did that. And after school year ended in May, he kind of looked at me and was like, okay, everybody likes your food. So do you want to do this? Do you want to go back to, school next year? And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll give you the year because if they make me teach online again, I did that for the last few months. I don't want to do that next year.
Mhm.
So I
It's not
decided,
ideal to do that. It's not,
right,
yeah.
right. I was teaching first graders.
Yeah.
So a
Even
lot of,
especially
uh,
that.
yeah, and a lot of, I don't know how to work this. Where's the button?
Yeah, and also
Um,
that's yeah, keeping any sort of discipline, yeah,
attention.
attention to and discipline. It's
Yes.
difficult. Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm coming on for the year. And then right after that, Eater came, and then the list came out the next year. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm staying. It just kind of
Mhm.
I just stayed. So that's what I
Oh,
do
that was
now.
that COVID kind of list or the list that came out 21 or something, or was that the
21,
yeah,
21.
yeah.
So yeah,
You were top
after
50 in that one.
COVID, yeah. So after that one came out, I was like, okay, I definitely don't think I can leave
Oh, is that the
now. I
Eater
mean,
one? Is that the Eater one where they misspelled your name?
well, the Eater one was the video. Yeah, like so the Eater one was in, I believe,
That was a good video.
January. Yeah, so they filmed it months before it came out, and I wasn't really sure when it was gonna come out, but it just so happened to come out like either right before or right after the
I
list.
think it
I think
was
it was right
somewhere around,
before.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was right before, and then we got a lot of praise for it, and a lot of people were interested in the tamales and our story. So I kind of told dad, I was like, look, I don't think I'm gonna go back to teaching if you're okay with me staying. And then we made the Texas Monthly 2021 list, and we made
Yeah.
top 50. And then I met Daniel Vaughn and everything. So I kind of just, decided I'm not going
Mhm.
back to teaching.
And you
No.
started to did you kind of start to realize what Texas barbecue meant to people at that time? Because probably
Yes.
before that you might not have realized, right?
I honestly did not, only because of, I not to say I was because I was young, but because I wasn't in that world as anymore. When my dad did competitions when I was younger, um, you know, I helped him when I could. I was there. We would help him watch the pit while he took a nap. But it wasn't
Yeah.
like my mom and I were like over there, with the shovel, and
Yeah.
he did all the work. He did mostly everything. My mom did the sides for the competitions. She always turned in beans. She always turned in something like that. I was just there as a hand. Like I wasn't involved. And so we all know competition world versus restaurant world is
Completely different. Yeah.
completely different. And um, so going into the restaurant business, I honestly, we knew dad had this goal of being in the magazine. We just didn't know how big of a deal it was
Mm.
when he first told us about it until, afterwards.
Mm.
Because after we made the list, we went to our first festival, which was Brett's Backyard. I think it was that same weekend
Okay.
that the list came out. And once there, I realized how many people, because everybody, I guess, was waiting for it. And I felt bad because I was kind of oblivious to,
That's
what it
okay.
meant. And so people were like, "Oh my gosh, congratulations. How long have you been wanting to make it?" And I was like, as long as I've heard about it, like it's always been a goal, but I didn't know about it until a year or two before that.
And how
So
would
we
you? And
didn't,
how would you? You were on a different path.
yeah, I was, and I always tell people, like some of my friends now, they always stop me whenever let's just say I went to a first year, one of my best friends, her kids birthday party was
Mm.
yesterday. And my friends are great. They love to brag about me to their family or to,
That's
their
nice.
out of state family. And I'm always like embarrassed. But I'm like, they have no idea unless you're in this world. Like
Hmm.
there's certain, worlds. And
Of
if
course, yeah.
I wouldn't know who any of the sports people were, I wouldn't know who any of the, if you're
Yeah,
not in
like
that world, you
I'm
don't
not into
know.
really soccer, so like if there's achievements in soccer or something
Right,
like that, or
right.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
I
I
meet
wouldn't.
somebody, I'm like, okay, cool, you're that
Yeah.
person. But, so I always tell them, I'm like, hey, it's okay. You don't have to brag. Like, it's all right. Like, I'm just a person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you knew me way before this. Like, it's okay. I just cook. Like,
Yeah, but
so
it's
that they're very great. But, no, I tell everybody I'm a cook. Like I just
mm,
barbecue, and it just so happens that people like our food, which is great.
it's fantastic. That's
We started it as a family, and if everybody can barbecue, I'm not gonna lie, anybody can make good barbecue
mhm,
if you've done it enough or if you practice enough. But I think what makes us stand out compared to others is our family. So we started it together. We're in it together every day, and we're always, mom and dad basically are always every day trying to make us better.
mhm,
And whether it's tweaking mom's recipes or dad coming up with new ones or new techniques, um, we try to make it a family thing,
yeah.
and we try to involve everybody in the process because it is, I mean, we can't, none of us can do it without the other.
Yeah.
So we lean on each other and we work together, which is sometimes hard, but in the end, we all know that we have one goal
Hmm.
and we're all working towards that goal. It's just whether or not some of us are tired one day, you know?
Which happens.
Yeah,
But
which
but
happens a
also
lot.
but also too, aren't your employees sometimes they're like the brother or sister or cousins? Like there's kind of not of
Yeah,
necessarily of you guys, but they're
no.
families too to you guys, right?
Right. We've hired, so our manager Hunter, who had a picture online with this last list, he was slicing in our picture.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um yeah, he's been our, right hand. He has left us to pursue becoming a police officer in our neighboring town. And we knew that this was the plan
Mhm.
for him. He had told us, the whole year before that this is what he was applying and that's what he wanted to do. And we're so supportive of him. We are. And he comes around as much as he can to help, or I'll make a fix it to do list,
Yeah.
and he's like, all right, just give me a list. Let me, and so when he left, before he left, he said, "Hey, my sister who was in high school is looking for a job. Would you mind?" And I was like, "No, that's fine." So we brought her on so he could kind of like fast track train her before
Yeah.
he left. Um, and so she's with us now. Our other manager, Aiden, he is actually a cousin of ours that we didn't realize. He was also in high school when we hired him. They were about to be seniors in high school, and one day his grandfather came to pick him up, and my dad recognized him, and he was like, "Hey, cousin, like, what are you doing here?" And he goes, "I'm picking up my grandson," and we were like, "What?" And Anna was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't tell y'all, but we're family." And this was like 3 months in, and we were like, "That's weird. Don't do that." Like, yeah. So we try to make it as, I don't want to say homey, but as family oriented as possible because we want everybody to be, passionate about it. My cousin does the sides. At the very beginning, when we first needed help, we hired her sons, and since then they've moved on to other jobs, once they got older. But we still try to keep it, small and family
Mhm.
oriented. So that way, we're comfortable saying things and comfortable, just not getting mad, but expressing,
No, that's
hey,
true. Yeah, yeah. It's
this is serious. Like I need.
Yeah.
this is a family thing. Like I need you to understand.
But also too, it's
Um,
almost like your family's welcoming other people into your home, essentially. It's or your business and you're trying to make them feel comfortable at home. And
yes, yeah, yeah. So,
that makes sense, I
they
guess.
always say that workplaces that say their family are toxic, but we are actual family, so we can't be
Well, it
any more
depends on
toxic. But
how you
yeah,
run things. And I've met
yeah,
your dad. I've talked to your mom just briefly, but I haven't had her on the show. But I definitely I know the passion of your father and how important and how proud
mhm,
he is of you and your mom and the business. And that's,
yeah,
not every a lot of people kind of run their businesses like a business. He kind of runs it like it's
yeah,
his baby, and it's very important.
yeah.
And I remember the tour. I'll probably put a link to the tour below. Like a lot of the stuff on the tour, like it's like this door was from blah blah. Like it's like
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
he's funny like that.
He's very great at um looking at things and turning them into what he needs them to be.
Yeah,
Uh, he always says this line that my grandfather would always say is if you couldn't afford to buy it, you had to figure out how to make it or do it yourself. And if you wanted it, you had to figure out how to do it.
yeah,
And so when we first started and throughout COVID and everything, there were some weeks where we were like, where is everybody? So if we wanted anything done, we always tried to do it ourselves, just so that way we could, save money, save time. And my dad's always said, if you learn how to do it once, you never have to learn how to do it again. And
exactly.
you're learning something,
Hmm.
and you have all these abilities for when you need them,
No, yeah.
basically.
No, your dad
So,
reminds me of my father. My father could kind of build everything or do everything. He would hate to have to pay someone to do something that he could do himself.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you need to for like, legal reasons to make sure things are code, but it's
Yes, yes.
but people would come like I always tell a story about my dad with electricians. Like he had this barn thing and they would come in and then at night he'd redo their stuff to make it to code. Like it's like so sad. Like,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's the same cut from
Yeah.
the same cloth. But now, what cooking when you started cooking on the pits, like, because
Mhm.
do you guys have 2000s right now, or do you have even more pits than you have?
No, I only have
Okay.
2000s. So those are my main ones that I use.
And what was the biggest learning curve for you, or do you remember back then? And then I also, do you have some? Do you still have that thing for your head or
I
something?
do. I do. I just washed it actually. It's in my laundry somewhere.
But it's like a thing that
No.
protects you, right, from the heat.
Yeah, it protects my hair. I have really long hair and I don't like short hair so on me. So cutting my hair was not an option.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the 1,000 gallon when I was learning how to barbecue, it took me about I would say I mean, dad and I, he basically was like, look, you got to get up with me. I'm walking you through every step for the next 2 weeks. It took about a week or two for me to actually
Mhm.
be like, okay, you can step back.
Yeah.
But I think it was mainly fire management, probably, and timing, just timing on when I could put stuff on, take stuff off, wrap stuff, because up until we closed Victoria at the beginning of the summer, um, I didn't have, and Hunter was there, but I didn't have a full crew in the back helping me put things on, taking things off. I still don't. So I didn't have an extra slicer to um or an extra person to help me watch the pit. So I had to learn how to put things on and stop everything I was doing to go wrap it in a timely manner where I could also be up front slicing for people.
Are you
And
slicing every day?
I'm not slicing anymore.
Okay.
I do slice for the first hour because I just like welcoming people,
That's
and my
cool.
mom likes it when they're like, oh, it's Kelly and
It's
mom, and
her. Yeah.
Kelly and Chris, and so we like we like the first few people to see our faces, and mom is mainly the one slicing or at register now up
Okay.
front while I'm in the back. Dad is usually when he's there, he's walking around, talking to people updating people on things. So before I would have to slice, and then if I needed to,
So
I'd be
fast.
like, "Hey, hold the line. I gotta go run and put some wood in real quick and come back." So that's what I would do, back and forth. And then, if Hunter was there, he was slicing. If I needed to run to the back, and then I would come back up front, and everything would be go as normal. And then after we closed during service, I was strictly in the back. Hunter or mom or Aiden, whoever was up front with me that day, they would take care of everything up front with the employees, making sure everything was reset, cleaned up for the next day. And then that's when I would do all my trimming, all of my spices, all of that at night, because I couldn't do that during service. But now I can. Now that's the stuff I do. I make sausage, I trim, I grind, I do all that while mom and Aiden are up front, just kind of managing everything. And
So
if
it's
they
still a
need a break,
small operation. It's still a pretty small
it
operation.
is. It is. I think we only have like 6 employees total. Now maybe 7 or 8. I can't count, but yeah, we have a small crew, that especially the ones that we prep or cook.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of us. The rest are great with customer service, register,
Yeah, true.
serving, cleanup. You need those people too. And
Mhm.
so we kind of, mom likes to rotate everybody and kind of make everybody used to each other's jobs. So nobody does the same job all day, or all their whole career with us. It's like, okay, who's on register today? Who's on customer service today? So that way they're kind of well-rounded. And if somebody's gone, somebody else can easily just step in
So are
to.
you accepting the meats and you're doing like are you like when the meats come in or the products come in and the proteins and then are you ordering the protein? Are you the person that doing that too, or is that your dad? Or
So we kind of
not
have
that
a
it's my
big.
business at all
Yeah,
already,
yeah,
but
yeah. No, we kind of have a big inventory list, and we get our orders basically once a week. So we'll
Mhm.
get like produce and meat once a week, and then paper goods once a week.
Yeah,
So we have an inventory list for things like that, and I keep up with my inventory, and then if mom is the one who takes care of all the ordering, all the billing, all the catering, all
good,
of
good,
that
good.
kind of
Because
stuff.
that's a lot.
So yeah, so if she gets a catering and or for the next few weeks, and she's like, "Hey, you might want to check your inventory to see if
Yeah,
you're going to need to order extra for that week, because ahead of time, because we only get it once a week, and we do sometimes we do get it during service. So at that
yeah,
time I would have to stop everything
yeah,
to check everything in. And like I said, we're a very small family owned business. And some people are like, well, where's the rest of your crew? Well, just let them take care of it. I'm like, there's nobody back there. If you
I
walk back there,
have
there's
to.
nobody. Yeah, it's me. So,
Yeah, and you can't like I've worked at restaurants and I've worked places like you can't judge it necessarily when things arrive. Yeah, it's like yeah,
yeah. And sometimes we've been so busy where we're like, okay, just put it there, and I'll call my rep if something's wrong.
yeah, you'll
Like,
check it when
you
yeah,
know, yeah. So, we try to juggle as best we can, but
yeah,
like I said, with Victoria being closed and Mom and Aiden being in Port Lavaca now, and everybody just kind of in one location, it's easier
yes.
on all of us that we can kind of share the responsibility, and we don't have to struggle with the driving back and
Mm,
forth, or the worrying about 2 locations.
yeah. Are there any proteins or anything special that you prefer cooking? Like, is there something like within that realm? And then also, what would be your perfect? I'm gonna go over proteins sandwiches. Like,
Yeah,
I want to go throughout the whole menu because it's unique. But is there anything you have favorites of or
I really don't. I mean, I like cooking everything. I like the satisfaction of putting it on and taking it all off. I'm at the end of the day, when everything is off and the pit is cleared, I'm like, "Whew, okay, like, it's a little sigh of relief, because it's,
yeah, it's been
my job is done. But it's also like, okay, so there's still spots in the pit that are empty. What's missing, in the morning? And I kind of like, okay, I can put extra of this on, I can put extra of that on. So it's kind of, I don't know. My mom always played Tetris when I was younger. She loved Tetris,
yeah.
but it's kind of like that. Like, I was like, okay, I like seeing it filled. and I like the satisfaction of putting it all on and taking it off. Not necessarily like I don't have a specific
But you enjoyed the
protein.
process.
I enjoy the process, and my favorite
Oh.
part, honestly, is starting the fire without any meat in it.
Hmm.
Because I just like the smell of wood without meat because it just smells good. Like,
Smells
I don't
great.
know.
I love you. Starting a
Yeah.
fire is great. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love that. That's like my favorite with before the meat goes on. Because once the meat goes on, then it's all mixed and, it
Yeah.
smells
So
like work.
yeah, it smells
But
like, it smells like a
yeah,
job. Yeah. So
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Are you still eating barbecue? Are you sick of barbecue or are you?
My sister's definitely sick of barbecue. When she comes, she's like, "Do you have anything else other than something smoked?" And I'm like, "Well, I have some stuff I can just like put on the oven in the oven real quick, or for our stuff for dinner or whatever." And
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah, okay." Um, we you can't get tired of eating barbecue. Like you can if you eat the same proteins a specific way every time. I try to mix it up. Dad has these carnita tacos now that we serve on Sundays, and we're probably going to start serving them on Sundays. He makes them with a big castle. That's a new item we just
Oh.
added last week. Uh, and so he makes them in the traditional way that they do in some places in Mexico. It's a big copper pot, with beef tallow and
Uh,
the pork butt and the
oh,
pork
is that the
loin and
copper
skin.
pot thing that he was? Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, there's there's ways that you can serve or eat barbecue that hopefully won't burn you out
Yeah.
of it. And, you know, I try to mix it up. If I had brisket one day, I'll try it. If I'm not sure about a certain brisket, I'll taste it and be like, I'm not gonna serve that one. Quality control.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna sit there and eat a whole platter of my food every week
Yeah.
because I would get sick of it.
Yeah.
And because I prep it, cook it, serve it,
Yeah.
clean it. And it's a lot when you also eat it. So
Mhm.
I try to change it up and kind of instead of tacos, I'll do a sandwich instead of.
Yeah. And you can mix sides in. You can do a lot of random things
Yeah,
if you want to. Yeah. So
yeah.
what are the proteins that you guys cook right now?
So we do brisket and turkey breast, pork ribs, um, sausage. We have our Central Texas and our Serrano and cheese. We also have pork belly, sliced pork belly,
Hmm.
pulled pork, which is our Cubano pulled pork. So it's braised in like a orange and lime juice kind of
Uh,
thing with lots of seasonings. And then what else? Oh, we have smoked salmon. That's been a big hit this summer. And then, hmm, oh, I'm forgetting all of my proteins. Oh, we have the tamales. I count that as a protein because we sell it like singly and by the dozen. That has a lot of meat in it. That's pulled
mhm.
pork and brisket mixed together. And then the caso, we have the carnitas, the pork carnitas on Sundays
And just on
now.
Sundays right now. Okay.
Just on Sundays right now.
And then for the I lost my train of thought when with the
Yeah.
tamales, do you have tamales every day?
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yes, and we have two flavors. So we have our Texas monthly one, which is our original flavor, which is pulled pork and brisket mixed together like a traditional tamal, and then we have our pollo verde, which is our green salsa and chicken, and like a white looking masa that
And then
mom builds them, and then I smoke them every morning.
is that something that people can order via catering like a week ahead, like get more of those, or is that only during like
If
holiday time?
Honestly, they don't do it during holidays as much, but for caterings and stuff, there will be some companies that have heard about it that their clients are like, "Oh,
Mm.
y'all are near LaVaca BBQ. We really want some of these tamales."
Mhm.
So if you want them pre-ordered by the dozen, we ask that you call at least like a week or two ahead because I do have to make, it's like 4 or 5 pounds of meat per dozen. So I do have to make a separate batch of meat just to save for so mom can like shred it, mix it, spice it, build it, and then I can smoke it.
Yeah.
So we do ask that people call or email ahead of time that they want the dozen
Okay.
pre-ordered. I try to make a few dozen a day, or at least at least 20 tamales a day. It's just so people can try them individually because that's mainly how we sell them throughout the day is
Yeah.
people buy just one because they're so big. They want just one to try, or they'll do just two for a plate.
That's
They'll make their own plate out of two and then add some sides. So
that sounds so good. That's yeah,
yeah.
because that's something a lot of places don't have, and
No, no.
in
Yeah.
general, like around anywhere, like even California, lots of places, it's always the holiday season that they
Yeah.
break out the tamales.
Yeah, and here too, but since ours, are in the butcher paper instead of the corn husk, they're so different
Yeah,
that people it's a novelty thing and people are always curious and they always at least buy one to try. So, if they fall in love with it, they come back for more and to take home.
yeah, it's nice to
Um,
have that as an extra. Yeah, not
yeah.
just the standard thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of newcomers when they come, they order the Trinity or they order oh, ribs. We have ribs too. I forgot about ribs.
No, you said
Yeah.
rib. No, you said ribs.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. It's hard to remember when the menu's not like right in front of me.
Exactly.
I'm like
Well,
I'm like imagining in my pit like where
no,
what
that's
I'm
good.
putting on.
That's more, it's
Yeah.
more organic if you do it that way.
Yeah.
Then for tacos wise, what's the blue, is a blue belly taco? Is that a pork belly taco? Is that what it is?
Yes,
Or
so that is like I smoked the pork belly slab, and that is the sliced. We slice the pork belly like a brisket, basically, and so I'll do a few slices in a taco. So that's what that is, the blue belly taco.
okay, and you have two other tacos, right? The brisket taco and the Cubano
Mm-hmm.
pulled pork taco.
Pulled pork taco. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then
And
I'm
people can really put any of our meats in a taco. We also have I forgot, we also have our Mexican pork steak that so it's kind of like a 1 inch, I believe, pork steak, and we rub it with achote paste and
oh,
we smoke it directly on the pit or on Dad's direct smoker. And when we serve it in like a little foil boat kind of thing, and we open it up, pour the juices onto it, and we put our homemade pickle and red onions on top, and then we
oh,
give them two blue corn tortillas so they kind of like pull it apart and use the meat for a taco.
is that an everyday thing?
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
pork steak. No,
So
that's oh, that sounds fun.
we served it at Texas Monthly last time, and it was a big hit. So yeah.
So now you've
We put
added
it on
that
the
to
menu.
the.
Yeah, now that we've added it to the menu for every day.
Are some of those things like say the tamales and like the pork steak, is that something that people should get to you guys in the earlier part of the day because those things do sell out?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Especially the tamales. The pork steaks, we try to push it. People are still, barbecue places have a lot of proteins.
Yeah.
And so they're like, unless they're sharing with somebody, they're kind of like, no, just give me brisket ribs and sausage.
Yeah.
That's what they really want to try. We always suggest we have to go boxes. If you want to take it to go to try later, that's fine. But it also gives them a reason to come back to order it for the next time. But yeah, the tamales especially, a lot of people come in right away and it'll be a big family and they don't understand how big they are. So they'll be like, okay, I want, five or
Four.
six. Yeah, like I want a lot for my whole table. And I'm like, okay, all right, so and it's based off of how much meat I have from brisket or pulled
Mm.
pork from the day before. So mom shreds that meat, spices it, builds them at night, and then the next morning, those are the tamales I put on. So I don't have a whole plethora of tamales at my disposal all the time. I can't cook. I can only cook
Mm.
as many as I have.
Yeah.
So
And I like that you use the word plethora. That has not been used on this show yet, which is fantastic.
I don't know where it came from. It just popped in my head. So
No,
I
I mean,
never use it either. I
I haven't used it in
promise.
a while. It's a great word. No, it's one of my favorite words, but
Yeah.
it hasn't been said. Let's go with the
My parents are
sandwiches.
gonna watch this and they're gonna be like, "Where the hell did
Like,
you hear that word?" I
she's
was
so
like, "I don't know."
smart. She's
Yeah.
smart. She's great and
Yeah.
smart. Okay, the Duke brisket sandwich,
Mhm.
Cubano pulled pork, and the Cochinato?
Cochinito. Yeah,
Cochinito.
that's a little pork steak. Yeah.
Okay, that's a sandwich. You do a sandwich too, or
No, that the pork
the
steak we
taco?
serve with the
Okay,
tortillas on the
okay.
side. Yeah. The Duke is my brisket trim from the fatty part. I smoke it kind of like barbacoa, like in little chunks.
Hmm.
And then once it gets dark enough, I put it in a pan and I leave it to tenderize basically. And then whenever we do the sandwich, I take a few of those chunks, chop them up, put some of our old school sauce on it, which is like a tangy barbecue sauce that we make,
Yeah.
and we put it between two slices of Texas toast.
Okay. So was that your
Mhm.
the hump day menu thing that your dad had? Or is that or that was
No,
meatloaf or
that
something?
one was like a special a few years ago, but now I have it on the menu every day because people liked it.
Okay.
The Hump Day one is um
Or is that
the
a
Hank Hill.
Hank
It's
Hill? Yeah.
the Hank Hill. It's our smoked meatloaf
Meatloaf.
sandwich.
That's what I thought of. Okay, meatloaf. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
since
only
I'm
Sundays. I mean Wednesdays.
no,
Only
that's only
Wednesdays. Only
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays,
Yes.
yeah.
So since I have more briskets that I'm trimming, I have more trim to, play with. And so I can only use so much for sausage
Mhm.
and the Duke. So Victoria had some specials like the chili and the sloppy joe and things like that. And mom and dad kind of wanted to bring those back for Wednesdays. So we use a lot of that meat for those kinds of things. And the meatloaf is part of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just came up with that and apparently it's been a big hit. So
It looks
yeah,
cool. It looks cool. It's
yeah,
yeah. And that's from King of the Hill. Is that where Hank Hill's
yeah,
from King of the
yeah.
Hill? Okay. And then for the sides, are there any sides, memorable side or interesting sides that you like to talk about? Because some of them are straightforward. The jalapeno cream corn, it
Hmm.
sounds fantastic.
So
Then
the
you
gumbo, I would say, is probably, and the potato casserole are probably
okay.
two of our most popular sides and our mac. So our gumbo, we're probably going to take to Texas Monthly this next time. So it's made in a roux. It's just like the seafood gumbo, except it doesn't have any seafood in it. It just has barbecue meats.
Oh,
So yeah, it's just sausage,
I'm
turkey,
sure it's great.
brisket. Yeah. Basically whatever is left in my warmer from the day before, whatever we don't use for tamales, we put it in the gumbo.
Okay.
And sometimes we run out because I sold out and I have nothing to
Mhm.
offer to my cousin who makes the gumbo. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we're gonna be sold out of gumbo tomorrow. So sometimes I've learned now that, I'll pull a whole brisket back or I'll pull certain proteins back for her. So that way we're for sure gonna have the gumbo now.
Mhm.
Um, so that one is a big hit. And then the potato casserole is shredded potatoes. It's kind of like a twice baked potato.
Oh,
It was mom's idea. It's a shredded potato with butter, sour cream, cheese, and then they put a little bit of French fried onions on top for the crunch because dad's a texture person and he really loves, different textures in
uh,
his food. So he was like, no, this needs something. So they added the French fried onions on top, and that's been a huge, huge hit. And then the mac and cheese. The mac and cheese is a little tangier than a regular mac, only because we shred the cheese every week. We get the big blocks of cheese. One of the girls there, she shreds the cheese, measures it out, and we make the batch per day. So my cousin's back there melting it and whisking
like you get
and
those big blocks that they get that they
yeah, it's like 40 pounds and I
yeah.
actually we have to cut it with a cheese wire and
No, I worked at
um
a cheese shop for 2 or 3 years, so
yeah,
I've gotten those. Those
yes.
are huge.
Yeah, and it's actually Hunter's sister that does it. So sometimes she's like, "Can you help me with the cheese block?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." But yeah, so that was one of his jobs. He moved on to her, but yeah, so we people are like, "Oh, this cheese tastes a little," and I'm like, "Well, we shred it
It's
every
fresh.
day,
It's
so it's
yeah.
fresh, so it's sharp cheddar, so it has a little tanginess to it." But we also put the crispy fried whatever pork belly we have left over. My cousin chops it up, fries it, and it's basically like bacon bits.
Mm.
And so now it's not whatever's left over. Now it's I have to cook her 6 pork bellies for herself, for the kitchen because we put little pork belly on everything now. Not really, but
A
we
lot of
put it on
stuff.
the mac and we put it on the smoked cheesecake
Wow.
as a
Now,
topping. So,
we'll get to the desserts in a second. So, but
mhm.
it does, as if people are listening to this and really listen to this, it sounds like, it just feels like you're coming to someone's home and they're cooking because you guys are all, okay, we'll do this, we'll add this. It's all very
Yeah.
homey recipes, and let's figure out a way to make it more homey and make it, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of these recipes, like the tamale recipe and some of the sides recipes, are actual family recipes from Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever that my mom or I have asked to be put on the menu. The tamales, for example, they were coming up with different seasonings, and I was like, can we just make it taste like here? Like, can we just make it taste like home? Um, so
She's the
my
best.
mom, yeah, so mom uses, the spices that we would use for Thanksgiving. And some people, are like, oh, well, I can make tamales but they're like, well, why don't you just go back and make more? I'm like, I don't think you understand how long of a
The,
process
yeah.
even the spices and stuff like that take to make the tamales.
Mm,
Boiling the chilies and blending and all of that. Um, it's a process.
yeah.
So, and mom's only one person. We don't give away certain things to our employees to make. So we want to make sure consistency is key. And there's certain things like the tamale or smoking in the pit or things like that that we're just like, no, we need to make sure it's consistent and we're going to do it ourselves no
Yeah.
matter what.
That's crazy. So what the desserts? Are you guys doing the desserts outside now, or is someone? Wasn't there someone that was doing them for you and it was
Oh, well,
connected?
no, we did have a cheesecake lady who
Oh,
was
that's what it was. Okay.
selling certain cheesecakes at our location. Um, but she was using our kitchen and our pit to
Yeah.
make it. She was using, she'd come in at night and do it. And so once the temperature of the pit was all right, she would come in later and, do it there for the smoked cheesecake. And so now she doesn't make a whole lot of different flavors. She specifically only makes the smoked one for us,
Okay.
but she uses our kitchen. My dad and my mom basically share the other and my cousin basically share the other responsibilities of the other dessert. So if there's like a special cake that my mom feels like she wants to make or anything like that, she'll make that. My cousin Amanda, she makes the peach cobbler.
Oh,
And then my dad makes the Mexican bread pudding, which is the borrachos.
okay.
And so my mom makes the banana pudding and the cookies, the vanilla wafers and all that for that, and the
Wow.
candy pecans that go with it. So
So you have a bunch of desserts now, like, or you do have the desserts.
we have at least four, I think. I think right
Man.
now we have four. We also have the free Bluebell ice cream every day.
Okay, so so is that something that is a thing? I saw that on like it said like the pro tip or something on the right.
Yes, yes, this time, yeah.
It's not
So
just like I could have
everybody,
just come in and grab it. You have to be a patron, right?
no, yeah, yeah. So everybody who eats in the restaurant, everybody who sits to eat, we give them at the register, we give them a little ticket basically. And it's like, okay, just give this to whoever's walking around, whichever employee is checking on you. At the ice cream counter, we have like a little ice cream counter with a little freezer in the back. And we give away the Bluebell ice cream cups. Now, if there's like, a family and they have like 3 kids and all 3 kids are sharing one plate, unfortunately, it is one ticket per plate.
Yeah.
But we always say, we sell the ice cream for $1 if your other 2 kids want ice creams.
They're
We,
gonna
we're
freak
not
out,
trying
yes.
to, yeah, we're not trying to gouge anybody on ice cream or anything. Um,
But you
but
can't give out like 70 ice creams or something because that's
no,
gonna
no,
no,
and ice
it's a
cream has
business. Yeah.
been strategically getting more
Hmm.
expensive, especially
Yeah.
those little cups. Yeah, but they're
And
those little
Bluebell
birthday.
especially, it's a yeah, higher end of the yeah.
Yeah, and so I'll look at my ice cream guy and I'm like, more expensive this week. And he's like, yeah, that's just it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Just
yeah.
life.
So I mean, yeah, people like it. I mean, we don't mind it. I
Yeah.
do have to, you know, it's an advantage to us too because when it's hot, I'll always go in and, I don't mind it being there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so I'll
Yeah.
go and put it in my cup or something and snack on it in the back and,
That's cool. No,
you
that's
know,
great. How has
yeah.
it been since the new list come out came out? Have you seen people exponentially like more people, or is it
Oh, yeah. So I mean, it's been great. We've seen maybe at least double the amount of people, maybe even triple, I would say, willing to come to our little town because we are so out of the way compared to everybody else. We're an hour and a half, I think, from, or at least an hour and a half away from any major
how far away? An hour and a
city.
half from where? Where would you say for people in their mind?
Well, we're right in the middle between Corpus, Houston, or Houston, Austin, San Antonio. They have to drive at least 2 hours to get to us.
Yeah.
So, and nobody really, I mean, there's major highways that connect those places. Nobody really like comes down to the coast just to come down unless you're vacationing, fishing, things like that. So more people are willing to make the drive now to get their stamp, which is nice. And then once they eat their food, they're like, oh, we're gonna come back again, not just for the
Yeah.
stamp, but you know, for the area or for our food or
Yeah.
just to because they don't realize what's down here or what's
Yeah,
around.
and if they haven't been, it's
And
kind of nice to go get outside your comfort zone and go somewhere else.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always joke because we're in the middle of nowhere. And even our house, we're in the country and the closest Walmart is back in Port Lavaca, which is 20 miles away from my house. So I have to drive
Wow.
20 or 30 miles to get to work every morning and there's nothing in between me and there. And so it's a lot of fields, it's a lot of cows.
How
But
far
we're on
away
the
is the
coast.
coast from where your restaurant is?
We're right on the coast.
Right on,
The
like
the the water's a couple the shrimp and I look like it's here. The
no, you
the boats, yeah, I'm like visualizing in my head. The boats are a couple streets
okay.
behind us.
All right. So is that
So
something
yeah.
that people can go and get fresh seafood like for dinner? Like say they go to your place for lunch and they go get
Oh
dinner, like
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of seafood places around us. So I mean, there's not a lot of beach. I will say that. There's not a whole lot of relaxing, like let's walk down the beach kind of thing. It's more
it's
of like
more
a
industry.
seawall.
Yeah.
It's more industry, but they can always go to Rockport or Port O'Connor, Seadrift. They have a little more of that, family beachy.
So they could stay there and then visit you. Like is that like kind of like
Yeah,
a for
yeah,
like
yeah.
vacation
It's
kind of
so
thing?
it's everything. I feel like everything around our area is 20 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is out here.
Yeah.
And,
But people in Austin will drive to Goldie's in Fort Worth or go to places in Fort like in Dallas or Fort Worth
yeah,
for the day and come back. So that happens, right?
that's true. That's true.
Or
I mean,
Houston, Dawson. Yeah.
my brother lived in Orlando for a little bit or for a while, and then he just moved back. And he was complaining about having to drive from our house to a mall, which is 40 minutes. And I was like, but it took us 30 or 40 minutes to get to wherever when we went to go visit you to a
Yeah.
restaurant, like in traffic.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he's like,
People are
yeah, but there was like, there's things in between, Kelly. Like, he was like, it's not just empty. And I was like, yeah, but
but
it's
empty's
nice
kind of
and
nice.
quiet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
quiet.
was like, it's
Clear
nice
your
and
head. Yeah.
quiet, and.
Okay. Well, well, we've talked for almost an hour, and it's been awesome. I could talk for another hour. Are
Oh
there
yeah,
things?
I'm fine.
Are there
I'm good.
things that you want people to know specifically? Again, it's Wednesday through Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday, but on Wednesdays we do not serve the traditional barbecue
Gotcha.
menu. We only have those special
Specials.
items on the menu. And then on Sundays, Dad has um is cooking on the caso, which is the traditional pot to cook carnitas in. And I do want to say about the list, it's hard to make it. It's
Mhm.
hard to stay on it, and it's hard to move up
Yeah.
on the list. And I'm so grateful that this last list, we had visitors that saw our potential in making top 10. And for anybody who's trying to find something new to do, cooking wise, like, adding to their menu or whatever to be top 10, it's very hard to find a new protein to cook.
Yeah.
Everybody has done almost everything from lamb to fish to, any kind of
Yeah.
um Italian, American, Mexican. Everybody's trying to find the special protein, a new protein to cook.
Um,
But I think now what we're realizing is it's not just about finding the new protein, it's about the way you cook it. It's about finding a different way to cook that protein.
yeah.
Because like with dad's carnitas in the caso, it's still pork butt, it's still pork loin, it's still, all of those parts, but it's a completely different technique, and it's a completely different way to serve it than people are used to. And that in itself is different than, your regular frying pan or,
Yeah.
the way you traditionally see it at home. And so I think that's probably what's going to make us stand out, or hopefully make us stand out. And, we have to figure out different techniques now. And it's not just about the 1,000 gallons. It's not just about, um, the live fire.
Hmm.
It's, finding different ways to kind of
And you're
show
drawing
people,
from your family recipes too, or from, yeah, I
yeah,
think that's important. I
and
think people, yeah,
experiences. Yeah. And making a show of it, or just figuring out different ways that you can show people how to make the same meat
yeah,
is going to be great. I mean,
yeah.
once people, all the different ways.
Putting your heart into it. Like it seems like you guys really care every day about what people are eating and what they're getting.
We do. I mean, like I said, if I see something in the warmer that I just know for a fact, hey Puppish, I know it's my dog. I know for a fact that I I don't want to serve that day, then I'm not gonna make my customer buy it. I'm
Yeah,
not going to, you know, if it's not good enough for me, it's not good enough for them.
yeah.
And so there's some times where my employees will be like, "Hey, can you come look at this? I'm not sure
Hmm.
about it." And I'll be like, "Pull it. Just
Yeah,
pull it. I'd rather pull it than, give my customers bad food." And we do want them to feel like family when they walk in. We want them to enjoy and just feel comfortable, because sometimes you go to a new restaurant, you're not really sure. You're kind of, you don't know what to order or what to expect. And so we want them to feel comfortable. We want them to ask questions and
yeah,
be able to tell us how they feel about the food, or, you know, we like explaining
yeah,
our story and where it came from. So that's what we
yeah.
like to share.
I'm so proud of you guys, and I've
Thank
known your
you.
dad for a long time, and it's
Yeah.
just fun to hear your story. And he ever so often he texts me like pictures of things he's building or doing random stuff.
Yeah.
Very passionate. He's
Yeah.
a
He's
very
always
passionate
working
man.
on something. Yes. Very, very passionate.
Yeah, which
I
is amazing,
swear.
and I'm so proud. Like I'm proud that you've been able to continue to grow and grow beyond what you're doing. And it's our people. You can see.
Oh, yeah.
Are
Say
there?
hi,
Hey, oh hey,
buddy. Yeah.
what's his name?
Oliver.
Oliver. Hey,
Oliver.
Oliver. Oliver, can you hear me? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Did you
He's more interested in the pets right now.
did you or something I was going to ask about? Oh, for people, are people lining up in the mornings? Is that something people should be aware of or
Okay, so they are not.
okay.
Uh, there are a few, don't get me wrong, there are a few that, do come out, but they're ever so often, and a lot
Mhm.
of them are around like 10:30. We don't get those like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Okay, okay.
Wait, like we don't have a line like everybody else.
Yeah.
And if we do, it's gonna be from 10:30 to, I would say, 12. It's not it's not where you're gonna have to hopefully wait all day.
Yeah.
Um, it is a little bit of a wait because sometimes people don't know what to order if it's their first time coming. So they
Yeah.
ask a lot of questions at the board. They like to order in big. So we don't have multiple cutters. We have one cutter, and um, it takes them a little time to weigh everything out and put it on a tray. But we
It's
try
not a
to, yeah, we try to make it as quick as possible to where we're still answering your questions, but we try to keep the line moving. And it's not, like I said, it's not a 6 a.m. wait time. There was one guy when we first, like the first weekend, he got there at 7:30 or right before 7:30, and dad was at the restaurant that day, and he had just gotten there right before the guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, did you notice that somebody pulled in right now?" And I was like, "No, I'm busy. Like, I'm busy in the pit." Uh, and I was like, who is it?" And he was like, "I don't know, but I think he's waiting." So he went out and talked to him. Sure enough, he was waiting. And dad goes, "Well, thank you. Like, I hope more people are going to come waiting." No, no. We were shocked. We were like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that's like our
But
first
some
person
people
who's
want to
ever
make sure they
come."
get there first as well.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, and dad even told him, I think, that he could just leave his chair at the front door if he wanted to be first in line and go to
Yeah.
Walmart. He was like, "You can go and take a nap and come back. Like, don't feel obligated. We won't give your spot away. Don't feel obligated to,
That's funny. That's cool.
feel like you have to stay." So no long line yet,
Yeah.
but hopefully once more people hear about us, or um, once people are able to get out more
Yeah.
for the list, and it's because it takes a while to plan. Lewis, from Lake Jackson, he was the one who finished the 2021 list first
Okay.
before everybody else. He actually came to visit on Sunday, and we had a nice chat. And I said, "What's your plans like this time, right?" Because obviously he's doing the list, but he was like, "I'm taking my time with it this time. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of money to travel
Yeah,
to
it's
see
different. It's
everybody."
different time this time. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he was like, "I give it to those people who want to, or who are trying to do it quickly, but I understand that it takes time, it takes money to see
Yeah.
us." And we're like I said, I know we're a ways away from everybody, but hopefully once people come, they'll realize the area
Yeah.
is nice, our food is good, and they'll want to come back again.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great way to finish it. Thank you so, so
Yeah.
much, Kelly, for taking
You're
time and for,
welcome. You're
for all the
welcome.
times that we've tried to make this work. So I'm glad that we
Yeah,
we
yeah.
finally did. And being Kevin Kelly, I have an appreciation for Kelly, but you spell it how
Yes.
do you spell it? Because I know that people spelled it incorrectly. It's
Kelli. My
okay,
mom
okay.
wanted me to be special, but I told her sometimes she may have made it too special. I can't find my name on anything. There's not even an E.
Yeah.
But
But they
yeah,
put it like isn't I've seen
Kelli.
people put it with E on it, right? Isn't that what people have
Yeah,
done? Yeah. Which it doesn't make
yeah.
sense. I've never seen Kelly with an IE ever, but
Really?
yeah, and a lot of people think mine is Kevin Kelly. It's Kelley because there's a lot
Mm.
of, but there's
Yeah,
also a
there's a
lot
lot
of
of those.
yeah, but there's also a lot of Kevin Kellys, like hundreds of them. Like there's a
Really?
black boxer named Kevin Kelly. There's a writer for
Wow.
Wired magazine. Like yeah, there's a lot of Kevin Kellys out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm special. I'm just
Oh,
singular
you
unto
are.
myself.
You are. You are. And I guess I am too. I mean, I've only met two other girls who their names were Kelli,
Yeah,
and I just felt connected to them right away.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was
For
like,
the
we're
rest of
friends
your life.
now.
Yeah, yeah. For the rest
Yeah,
of
I
your
was
life.
like, we're friends now. I mean, I don't know where they are in life now, but I was like,
Yeah,
when I was younger, I was like, okay, we're friends. We have the same name.
that's cool.
So, yeah,
Well, please say hello to your dad, and I don't know your
I
mom
will.
well,
I
but please say
will.